That's actually a very good point.
It says we're live.
Well, it lies.
Yes, Josh, ibuprofen and scotch has been deployed. Trust me.
Oh, God.
I'm trying, just so the audience knows, I'm trying to convince these guys that the days of there being strong backs, weak minds are over.
Yeah, now it's weak back, weak mind.
They just need to resign the fact that as much as they would like to, they need to just restrict moving to bodies only from now on.
Yeah.
You may be right.
You know, when I moved, I didn't have this much problem the last time. Yeah.
Well, there's stairs involved last time.
No.
No.
Okay.
Why do you think I live in a one story? As a public service announcement for all you folks watching, do not trust concrete composite aggregate steps in the rain,
No,
because those sumbitches are about 14 kinds of slick.
and they shouldn't be. There's no
Yeah.
reason that concrete aggregate should be slick, but it's like going up a skating rink.
Yes, Sarah, the stairs are evil anyway.
Well,
And it was
what's
even
the
worse
aggregate?
because Ian was on one end of the
It was
bookcase and I was on the other.
1970s pebble and gravel
Yeah.
aggregate.
Yeah.
Okay. How much petroleum is in there?
Shouldn't be any.
Shouldn't be any, but it was slick in the rain. Yeah, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Thankfully, it didn't happen with any of us yesterday. But I went to take a step and push the bookcase up one more step. And as I started putting pressure down, my foot started slipping. And I told Ian, I said, "You got to hang on for a second." And he goes, "Why?" And about that time, the load went on him. He goes, "Oh, hang on, I got to get my foot back under me." Okay, let's try this again.
Yeah, no kidding. But fun.
Sanford, you're more than welcome. However, next time we're going to find some damn high school kids or somebody and pay their asses.
Garber, Jim had a good point. Just find a coach, so he got a training opportunity for his front
Yeah.
line.
And we beat the rain twice, so that was a plus.
Oh, whoever's scheduling the weather in Texas, would you please move the thunderstorms to the day and the regular rain to at night? Because I would like to get a full night's sleep.
Oh, whine, bitch, complain.
No. Obi.
We also found a fantastic little burger joint in Decatur,
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, if you're ever in Decatur, Texas, there's a place called, the hell is it?
Rooster's Roadhouse.
Rooster's Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Courthouse Square.
Yeah,
That has some excellent burgers in
I've
there.
heard of Roosters before.
Sanford says they've already discussed hiring young and stupid next time. That works.
Yes.
Yeah, thunder is a pleasant lullaby for some of us, Josh.
Not for my dog.
Yeah.
Obi is half Corgi, half Arkansas Leghound.
And all paranoid.
No.
And Thunder is a monster waiting in the dark to eat him.
Oh, when the roofers came and he thought the thunder monster was actually knocking on the house. Oh, poor
dear.
Obi.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, we've got the old and stupid covered, Sanford. Trust me. Tornado sirens, yeah, you
Old
get
and
used to them.
creaky. Old and creaky.
In another PSA, the serious one this time, FDA has announced a new approved T-cell detection for COVID. And the reason I want to mention this is if you have children that you are not confident you want to have them get the vaccine because they may have already been exposed, this T-Detect is a white cell detector that analyzes DNA, and it can tell whether or not you've had recent or previous SARS-CoV type infections. So if you're worried about your kids and you're worried about giving them the injection at their ages, whatever they may be, this might be an alternative for you to look at with your doctor. Anyway, don't know how much it costs, but I just wanted to mention that.
Have they developed a test that distinguishes between COVID and the flu yet?
Yeah.
No. Well,
in other news,
technically, yes.
Except how many flu cases have we had in the last 18 months?
Yeah.
well, remembering that influenza is a selection of viruses, one of which is coronavirus. So yes, some flus are caused by coronavirus. In other news, the fight for $15 minimum wage is kicked into high gear again.
Yeah.
And I would like one. I need Black and Decker or Ryobi or somebody make a battery-powered power stapler.
Yeah.
And two, I need about 5,000 3x5 cards with Fight for 15 on there. And in about a year, when somebody's sniveling because they're out of a job because they voted for Fight for 15, we got a $15 minimum wage, and now they can't find a job, I'm going to staple that 3x5 card to their forehead.
Yeah. RK says Thunder was okay. The near lightning, simultaneous lightning strike, not so much. And the pool is an infinity edge again, but it's not designed as such.
Oh,
Yeah, we've been getting enough rain up here. We've gotten
oh, God.
in the last 2 weeks, 8.5 inches of rain.
I swear to God, my pepper plants are developing gills.
I'm going to put on my tinfoil sombrero for a second.
Go ahead.
Okay. So let's fight for 15. I find 15 to be an interesting number that they chose to fight for. Not 12, not 17, not 20.
It's
15.
It's a litter.
Right. Well, no, it's not that. It's $15 an hour makes automated kiosks financially feasible.
Oh, yeah.
Below 15, and it still would have been okay to hire people. Above 15, and you know, but 15 was a cutoff point. At that point, it's a trade-off. If I put in kiosks, automated kiosks, and you hit a button to order what you want,
Mhm.
and some machine in the back makes it, I'm no worse off than having people. Well, actually, I'm still better off than having people because machines don't take vacation and show up.
Or get sick, or
Right. So
do social unacceptable things in your food when they have a bad day.
So the people that said fight for 15, do they understand that what they're really doing is creating more unemployment? Is that what they want? Do they want more people on the government tip?
Well, the majority of them that are doing the fight for 15 don't have to worry about working.
Oh, I know. It's just, did the person that thought that up think, you know what? I'm going to create a massive unemployment.
Thus the power stapler and the card. So
right, yeah.
I voted for it, now I'm out of a job.
RK says use a nail gun, it works better.
Yeah. Well, AOC, Occasional Cortex, has that new WCA program. She wants, she kind of resurrected Roosevelt's
conservation corps.
Yeah. Well, I'm serious. To whinge off your tinfoil sombrero, I'm wondering how many of the Fight for 15 are backed by the universal basic income folks.
Oh, a bunch.
Well, see it all boils down to how many people can we get on the government teeth?
Yeah.
Because the second they're dependent on the government can do what it wants.
Yeah. Josh says, Jim, the top pushers know that. The masses that follow have never read Connecticut Yankee.
Oh yeah,
this is true. Yeah, and AOC said global warming is caused by racism. Yeah, we saw that one, RK.
Man, racism is a powerful magic spell. It can do anything.
It can.
Racism can change the weather. Holy gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a one mondo juju right there.
Yeah. No, Sanford, the people that thought that up don't care that they're destroying every advantage earned by those that make 15 to 30 an hour. No, they don't care.
Well, this is like Biden's adding 2 years to the mandatory education.
Yeah.
He wants everybody to have the minimum of an associate's degree.
Yeah.
Which makes an associate's degree no better than a high school diploma.
Yeah.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Well, what it does is make them 2 years older.
Yeah.
So that's 2 more years they're not in the workforce.
It's 2 more years if they can brainwash them too.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about. I think this is really all about creating the largest unemployed force that this nation has ever seen.
They'll be screaming for money somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
And will popular vote in a universal basic income.
Well, they're going to print more money. That's all they have to do. I mean, look at Biden. $6 trillion in spending that he's already proposed in the first 100 days.
Jesus.
He's on track for 12 trillion for the year.
Yeah.
And So it becomes this, well, the government will give you money. So now the government's giving them money.
I forget
Yeah.
what the Roman word for bread and circuses is.
Yeah, Koala makes an excellent point here. Misunderstood. They misunderstand that Uncle Sam isn't the rich uncle to pay for you. Free money is free, right? No.
No.
People who think paying 80% in taxes is okay because that means free stuff for everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Except,
Well, and if you really want to get a tinfoil sombrero, if you want to dive deep into that, okay, 80% minimum tax means what? The millionaires move offshore. So if you can't get the requisite money because it moved offshore, well, then you need a universal global tax
Yeah,
To
which
make
they've
sure.
already
to
proposed.
make sure
Well,
that
it's
those millionaires who moved
it's the
offshore
same
pay
type of taxes that
quote,
New York and California
their
would
fair share.
Yeah,
Right, well, I mean, New York and California have already imposed those taxes on people that move out of state.
yeah. Well, they haven't passed them. They're trying to.
Yeah,
Well,
those
hey,
are not
Brian, good to
constitu-
see you.
Those are not constitutional.
No.
California amazes me because it's all your future income for the next decade kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I cannot see how they would think they would have any claim to any of that at all.
Well, they're not thinking of claim. They're thinking they've got to get
Yeah.
their
Right,
money
yeah.
somewhere. They've got to squeeze that cash out of somebody.
Well, and then they eventually come to the point where, there's not enough people making money to kick in for the free stuff.
Yeah.
So they're going to make people
Mhm.
go to work.
Yeah.
Which means you will get assigned a job, no matter what it is, no matter what your qualifications are, because this is the government.
Yeah.
And they're really efficient at that kind of stuff.
Well, and the other thing they're
Said
going
that
to
with a
do,
straight face.
the other thing they're going to do is they're going to raise the age for Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
They've already said that.
That's because they're going to be robbing Social Security for the basic minimum,
Yeah.
whatever they're going to call it.
Well,
Yeah.
what are they
Brian brings up a
They're going
good
to
point.
rob a stack of IOUs that's already there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian brings up a good point. Passing the tax and enforcing the tax are two different things.
Who was it? Was it Heinlein?
Ain't no such thing as free
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah.
No.
Dan Staffel.
No, not that. It was. I'm a law-abiding citizen because I find the laws to be not too onerous.
Yeah.
The second I find them to be too onerous, I will ignore them.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, yes.
But I still, or
Heinlein.
something about being a moral person or
Yeah.
something like that. But
That was Heinlein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Josh, if you're a young person, you'll never see a penny out of Social Security.
Yeah, the Social Security accounts in a stack of IOUs in a foreign vault somewhere.
Yeah.
It's
Signed U.S.
the
government.
original Ponzi scheme.
Yeah,
That's
no
the only
kidding.
thing
Well,
about it.
I'm collecting. Thank you guys. I appreciate y'all paying my bills.
Well, they should have realized it was a Ponzi scheme when the very, very first person ever in history to collect from the U.S. Social Security Administration was a woman who either paid one payment or no payments into it. And she got, I don't know how much, and she paid like one or no payments into Social Security and yet collected a check the rest of her life.
Yeah.
They should have gone, oh, damn it.
There was back in the 1790s, there was a debate in Congress. The widow of a rather brave American, I think he might have been in the what was then considered the U.S. Navy, or might have been a Marine, but he'd done something incredibly brave and gotten killed. Now she was left destitute.
Yeah.
So somebody in Congress said, well, let's award her a stipend. And it was like $19,000.
Oh, this is David Crockett's response?
No, this isn't David, because David Crockett wasn't in Congress at the time. And there was a big fight because the guys that knew better were like, well, the second we give her a stipend, well, that opens the door. And now everybody who wants a stipend can ask the government for a stipend, and the government's not there for that.
Yeah.
And there was this gigantic week-long debate on what the government was there for. And back then, the guys understood that the government wasn't there to give people shit.
Yeah.
The government there was to protect the country and build the roads.
Yeah.
To oversimplify the matter.
Yeah. Josh says pay off those within 5 to 10 years of Social Security age to keep the promise, cut off the rest and let him keep his money. Yeah, but if you keep your money, Josh, that means that I don't get anything.
That means the government doesn't have that fallback.
Because the government is expecting y'all to pay us because they stole everything out of the Social Security accounts.
And they're going to keep stealing because they're used to that free money.
Yep.
But there was, I don't know how apocryphal this was. There was, there's a story that when David Crockett was in Congress, a similar thing happened. It was, Congress wanted to pass a law to give somebody money. And he said, I'll vote against it, but I will pass the hat and every honorable gentleman here.
Okay, yeah, it must be the same thing I'm thinking of then.
Yeah.
So it might have been David Crockett. Okay.
Yeah.
And every honorable gentleman here, and I will give, I think it was like a month's salary. If every honorable gentleman here will do the same, we will give this person enough to live on.
Yeah.
And because the government's not here, so I will not vote for the government. But I will do it of my own free will, which is the way it's supposed to friggin' go.
Yeah, Josh says, let the government eat cake. And his wife says cheese. Josh, it's government cheese.
Now, let's not knock government cheese.
He likes government cheese.
And Josh comes back with stinky cheese with mold.
I could not. I went shopping. I went looking for government cheese at Sam's. I couldn't find it.
Oh,
Nope, couldn't find it.
the red rind cheese in the drum is
Yeah.
pretty approximate.
Yeah, I ended up getting Kraft, the bulk thing of Kraft singles.
Government cheese makes the best toasted cheese sandwiches.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
because-
RK, we're old enough that we remember government cheese actually being good stuff.
That's because the U.S. is really good at petroleum byproducts.
Well, government cheese was there because they paid Wisconsin
Yeah.
dairy farmers and needed to get the money back somehow.
Yeah.
And Koala says it doesn't mold, and Jesse comes back. Cheese is mold. Yeah, which it is. Yeah.
Technically, it is. Well,
It's
No.
Well,
It's spoiled milk.
It's mold poop.
yeah, it's cheese. It's mold vomit. Yeah.
well, and wine is just yeast.
Yeah.
Is hope.
Yeah, it's just yeast poop.
Yeah.
Well, the
And-
alcohol is yeast poop.
And beer is a fungus vomit. Boy, this one went off the rails. and everything.
Is it odd that most of our favorite foods and drinks are basically rancid?
I made a college student throw up one time discussing Worcestershire sauce.
Oh yeah, Worcestershire. You know why Worcestershire sauce is the way it is? They were trying to copy soy sauce,
They were trying to copy garum.
and they couldn't. They didn't know what it was, and so they're like, well, let's try this, and let's take this fish and let it stew
Yeah,
for a
Well,
while.
they had the Roman sauce, fish sauce garum.
Yeah.
Recorded everywhere, but the Romans figured everybody knew what garum was, so they
Because it
never.
was that
Yeah.
common.
It was that common, so they didn't write down what it was. And some bright spark was trying to recreate garum, which is basically
Yes, yeah.
rotten fish sauce.
Yeah.
The
No,
so
Josh,
soy
we're
sauce-
not doing lutefisk. Shove it.
Oh, lutefisk, where a portion of its process of making it is actively poisonous to eat.
Yeah.
But they started out with, let's take this barrel of freshly rotten anchovies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Worcestershire sauce.
I have this theory. There are foods.
Oh God, here we go.
Well, no. I mean, it logically holds together. There are foods that every culture has that are really just a joke upon the rest of the
Upon the
world.
rest of the world.
Yeah.
I mean, Scotland is great for it. I mean, Scotland has haggis.
All right, it's a sausage.
Let's take all this really stuff that you wouldn't normally eat, shove it in the stomach,
It's sausage.
and then stand at the top of the morning and go, "Hey, dare you to eat this?"
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. So we've got lutefisk. We've got what's that shark fin stuff out of Iceland?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it's the whole
God.
shark. Right? It's
No,
not-
no, it's just shark fin.
No.
stuff.
no, it's
They-
the whole
It's so
shark.
sharp. It's
No,
all sharp.
They give it to you all because it smells so bad,
Well, you know how they make it, right?
right? No, but it's just a
It's-
shark fin.
It's somebody has a whiz on it, and they bury it in
Yeah.
beach sand until it
Well, yeah, when
the uric acid gets rid of the
that's
stuff.
traditional Viking methods. But yeah, I mean, there's a food all over anywhere you go. There's a food that you can
It's a
point to
dare. It's a
and
dare.
go, this is them daring the rest of the world, and they're laughing about it.
Balut in the Philippines, 100
Yeah,
deer
Well,
eggs in
that's-
China.
My
Yes.
brother has a similar. He says that there's a food in every culture that somebody got so desperate.
Yeah.
So desperate. If I said, I'm going to try to eat this.
Well, who ate the first oyster?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he
I mean-
says, and then the shame of, oh my God, you ate a whizzed on rotten shark. The shame is so great to expiate the shame. We'll make it our national dish.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the first person to figure out beer. Here, I'm gonna take some corn. I'm gonna bury it under a rock until it goes rancid.
Yes, Brian, I've actually had Hardfisker.
Perfect.
Oh, and cheese.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this milk has gone rancid. Let's eat it.
Yeah.
Somebody was desperate and hungry.
Well, the thing is,
Oh,
though,
man. RK says tasting history with Max Miller. They actually made garum. Yeah.
the thing is, with cheese, we took it to its logical conclusion because there's that cheese in Italy. It's illegal.
The jumping cheese.
It's illegal anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it has maggots in it.
Yeah,
And
the
that
jumping
is-
cheese.
Yes.
Ooh,
And it's considered a delicacy.
what idiot said, "Ooh, there's oh my God, the maggots are clearing 6 inches. Let's
Yeah.
eat this."
You know who it was?
Yeah.
It was somebody on a sub. And I bet you it was an Italian sub.
Sarah Singleton says most delicacies, desperation or a practical joke or a dare. Yeah.
I mean, look at soul food. Soul food is everything that wasn't going to be eaten by the guy in the house.
Yeah.
But actually,
Well,
some-
Koala says it was a man whose wife got mad and refused to make dinner, resulting in all the fermented food that is now consumed.
Yes.
Yeah, that I have seen one episode. I didn't see the episode on the Roman soldiers' lard rations, but
Lord,
yeah, they use lard for damn near everything over there because it never went bad.
Lord.
Yeah.
That's one reason why McDonald's that
Yeah.
we may be the only ones here that remember the original McDonald's fries
Yes.
that were fantastic
They were in lard.
because they were cooked in lard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then some busybody said, "You can't cook it in lard; it's bad."
Yeah.
So they cooked it in
Why is it
vegetable
bad?
because it's beef. It makes cows cry or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh says a cake was a delicacy that was so because it was rare and expensive, not because it was good, which is where we get catering from, which, yeah, depending on the catering,
Rubber
yes,
chicken.
it can be good or bad.
There was this British show where they lived for a week of that era and they ate the food and everything.
Yeah.
And I can remember they were doing like Louis XIV France.
Yeah.
Right, that era, and the desserts were a lot of gelatins.
Yeah.
Well, think about it now. Where did they get the stuff to make the gelatin from?
Beef bone.
No, rendered pig.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So these
Gelatin is nothing more than a version of lard.
right. Yeah. And it was just I just found it funny that their idea of a fancy dessert was what we laugh about from the 70s. You
Yeah.
know, it was lime jello with cottage cheese and
Yeah.
pineapple in it.
And carrots, and shredded carrots.
Yeah, and Sarah brings up another good point. It's now to the point that the keto folks say lard is healthy again.
Yes.
Lard
It's
has
got
always
full
been
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
That was England had one of those. There was a guy and a woman.
Yeah.
And they would live on a diet.
Yes. This is the show I was talking about. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that always stunned me, we watched like 3 seasons of it. What
Yeah.
always stunned me was the fact that going into this, he would go get a doctor's appointment and have his everything checked.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, if you eat this, you're going to be,
Yes.
you're so unhealthy.
Yeah, and he
And
comes back and he's
Every
in
one
better
of
shape.
them, every one of them, he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
We can't explain it. And
Yeah.
a couple of times, all right, but every time I watch the doctor, finally they stopped doing the doctor.
Yeah.
I said, I don't understand why your numbers are normal.
Yeah.
Because you've been eating nothing but beef
Yeah.
for a week.
Well, Josh, I've got 7 pounds of lard out in the fridge. So yeah, I use it for the same thing.
Thing is, if the lard is coming back in, that means it's going to be easier to find suet.
Yeah.
And to make a decent standing crust for any kind of pork pie you want to make,
Oh,
Yeah.
you need
Yeah,
suet.
suet.
Yep.
Yeah, I keep making fat and sausage fat under the stove, under the sink, just to add to the cornbread, the green beans, and other things. Yes.
So
I
we
walked
bought
in-
a bucket of
Yeah,
bacon.
I walked in here. I walked in here one day, looked in the outside freezer, and there was a 7-pound bucket of bacon fat.
Yeah.
It's like I found my people.
Anytime I make cornbread.
Bacon fat.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, which, well, actually 2 things, but I'll start with this one. Yes, cast iron you season with bacon, fat, or lard. That is correct. Is the issue with inflation. Right now, the amount of inflation in lumber is 171% over the last year.
Bloody hell.
Some of that is explained, a lot of it is not. But gas prices, gas, inflation in gas right now is 33%, give or take. Some places it's higher. Food is up 10 to 15%.
Now that's officially. I would bet you unofficially it's up double that.
Yeah. What does the government say? Did they say today is the amount of inflation currently? 2.6%.
Oh, horse feathers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horse feathers.
You have to, you can't look at the government for any of those numbers to be real anymore.
No.
You have to look at the market indicators. So you take a look at what's the petroleum index doing?
Yeah.
What's the tech index doing? What's the commodities index doing?
The thing is, those are so hard to get to anymore because people look at that and they figure out what the real inflation is.
And they lose their minds.
Yeah, and they lose their tiny ass mind because we don't have the money coming in and we're not getting raises
Right.
to come anywhere close to real inflation. If you print more money, now you're looking at hyperinflation.
Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
Reno has he calls it his retirement fund.
Yeah.
He spent like 35 cents, I think,
yeah,
for a $10 trillion Zimbabwe dollar note.
Yeah.
He got framed over his desk at work. It says retirement fund, $10 trillion Zimbabwe dollars. It's a pretty note. I
Yeah.
give him that.
Here's the weird thing about hyperinflation is we still have minted coins, right?
Mhm.
Now with hyperinflation, all you start doing is locking zeros off the end of the bills,
Yeah.
right? Basically. But you can't change the minted coin.
Okay.
So when I
which
was
will
living
mean they will take the minted coins away.
right, when I was living in Ethiopia, they didn't have any minted anything.
Yep.
If you
Right.
wanted a 1 cent Angolan whatever, it was a piece of paper.
Yep.
Yeah.
That allows them to continue to lop zeros off without a
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
We've got minted coins. They're fixed. So 4 quarters is still $1, no matter how many zeros you lop off the dollar.
But the problem is that they will go the way of other countries and take away any kind of coins.
Now,
They did that. They did that in Spain on the black when they converted to the euro, and the black market Spanish pesos that came in exceeded what the government said was in circulation
This is-
worldwide.
this is one of the reasons, it's the primary reason, I hold it's the primary reason that the government is pushing real hard on all digital currency.
Yeah.
They want everything to be digital.
Yeah.
One, once everything's digital, you can't hide
Yeah.
can't hide from the tax man.
Yeah.
And two,
Sa-
once it's digital, they don't have to worry about.
They can put whatever value they want
Yeah.
on it. Sanford says housing seems to be up 20% unless you're in a blue state. That's, I would say, low. Last weekend I was over visiting with some high school classmates, and the son of one of them is building a house. Started building last year, still trying to finish it. And his original budget for lumber was $50,000. He's had to pay another $30,000 just to get the lumber to finish the house.
That's another thing. Here in town, we have a road on the edge of the eastern edge of town, and a great deal of the road goes through basically ranch land.
Yeah.
And one of the ranches out there. Oh, speaking of turkey tracks up for sale.
Yeah.
One of the ranches out there sold off land adjacent to the road heading to the highway, and they're putting these little houses, 1,800 square foot, 3-bed, 2-bath houses on a postage stamp. And the interesting thing is there are a housing development where Peter and Dot live.
Yeah.
1,900 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Mhm.
Those are selling for $180. The identical house or identical square footage, identical bed and bath on Bell Road are selling for $250,000.
Yeah.
Because nobody's ever lived in them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The ones that people lived in are selling lower, and that is odd to me.
Well-
Considering that real estate prices are always appreciating and not depreciating.
Well, until you get a bust. And we're coming to the point we're going to have a bust in housing.
Yeah, I don't think housing is overinflated. I don't think it's in a bubble.
Yeah, it is.
But the fact is that housing should always appreciate. not
Should.
depreciate.
Yeah.
So if new houses that are the same size are selling for more than used houses.
Well, a friend of mine in California coming back from Japan.
Well, no, because what did the house when the houses in that area that Peter and Don lived in, what did they sell for originally?
110.
So they've appreciated.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah. But this was a new house in Lake Elsinore area in California. Guy wanted $735,000 for it last year.
Bloody hell.
Mhm.
Jay just bought it for $405,000 because there were no takers.
Right.
The whole subdivision is like that. So they're just selling to get out from under it. The other thing, and as RK and Koala both said, seeds, garden seeds. You know, I went to Ace Hardware this morning looking for something for the post. They had a display sitting up front where the cashier could look at it and see it. And I did not see any heritage seeds in there.
No, you won't.
Now, the interesting thing, people may or may not know this, but a lot of the heritage seeds, especially Pioneer, are grown in Hawaii. And they're actually grown on Kauai. And they're actually grown on the highway that goes out to PMRF, Pacific Missile Range. And there's this big line, white line painted across the road, about 2 miles from the gate. And it says no GMO. Because that's the dividing line for Pioneer, for where the heritage seeds are is closer to the base, and their GMO stuff is further back.
I like the fact that their genetically modified organisms are no GMO.
Yeah.
No non-GMO.
Yeah, I know that, you know that.
I think
But the
cutoff
fun
is
part,
how long did it take the GMO? If it took hundreds of years,
but the fun part is they have two completely separate operations.
Oh, heck.
One in the non-GMO and one in the GMO.
the other reason heritage seeds are hard to find is because heritage seeds can reproduce.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whereas, so if I go and buy corn seeds and I grow corn, it's designed so that it's not going to produce more seeds for me to use the following year.
That way the company gets to make money.
Right. So heirloom and heritage seeds, those are what you want.
Yeah.
Because then you become self-sufficient.
Yeah. What Sanford
not
says,
self-sufficient.
Sanford said after the last bubble pop bought a house for 10K. They're now asking 30, and he expects it to fall back to around 10 when the bubble pops again. Louise said housing in Southern Kentucky went up by about 10%. Koala's a smart one of the bunch. She bought $300 worth of seeds last year because she didn't see anything going well. I have a black thumb, so I don't buy seeds because all I do is kill the damn things.
My peppers are doing great, Duds. The thing about peppers is the drier the growing season, the harder the pepper.
Yeah.
Well,
we ain't got to worry about that
the
this
wetter
year.
the growing season, the milder the pepper.
I'm
growing mild peppers anyway. These things have no spike to them whatsoever.
Have you looked at the map of the reservoirs in Texas lately?
Yeah.
Everything north of, what was it, Arrowhead? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Was at 100% or higher.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much for the drought.
Yeah, well, it's raining so hard, but it's not over a long enough time for anything to soak in.
It's all running off. Did you see the river this morning?
Yeah, it's up.
Yeah.
The river's up.
Now, Brian says his daughter signed on a built home at the beginning of the year, so she dodged everything. She's closing next week.
Good.
Our case, and that's interesting. Our case says second fastest growing county in the nation. Their place assessed at twice what we paid for it, and most of the other places are the same or worse. Koala, she's got a 1,500 square foot garden. Must be nice.
That's not a
Don't
garden.
tell Rita.
That's not a garden. At 1,500 square
That's
feet.
a farm.
Yeah,
Well, it's a truck garden,
she's
technically.
It's a farm.
she's truck gardening. Yeah.
Yeah, the Turkey Track Ranch up in the Panhandles for sale.
I hate to think how much.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Yeah.
How many acres is that?
80,000.
And it's not even a big one either.
No, but it's one of the. It's one
One of the
last,
oldest.
One of the last of the big.
Yeah.
Private ranches.
Okay, so Do you get the brand with it?
Yeah, brand
Because-
sells with ranch.
The brand is the
Brand sells with ranch.
RK says we can't afford the water for that garden that big. Yeah, that's true.
But right now, we don't have to worry about it
right.
because, as Obi will tell you, water's falling out of the sky left,
Yeah.
right, and center.
Yeah, it's literally 8 inches of rain here in the last 2 weeks.
I love the fact the White House is calling on Israel to significantly de-escalate.
That's
Which
right,
is a
because
change,
Israel started this.
Oh, yeah.
which is a change from last week when Biden said they have the right to defend themselves.
Right, because he hadn't talked to his
Yeah, he read-
Iranian masters yet.
He read the wrong 3x5 card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they-
Oh, Josh, y'all are not playing fair. All raised beds is on a drip system. Asshole.
But as far as the housing market goes, so long as you can sell it for more than you owe on
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
You're good.
you're okay. We're not crashing yet. But
Well, when
I'm
it
afraid,
flips,
I'm afraid we're going to crash.
when it
Within-
flips, it's going to be
within-
just like it flipped back in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's going to crash in the next 12 months.
You know, that was the original flip.
I don't know. I don't think it crashes in the next 12 months because nobody can afford to build.
No, they're building.
They're building all over the place.
The prices for the wood.
They're building, Jim. You don't understand.
They're building all over.
We
On 380.
we drove by
Yeah,
two
I understand
subdivisions.
I understand that they're building here,
No,
but everybody's moving here
Oh, okay.
to Texas.
Point.
Okay,
yeah,
right.
Point.
The fact is that they shut down the wood mills for how long? So there's no wood
well,
up there.
yeah, they were down for about 6 to 7 months.
So the
That
guys,
was warehouse.
so the guys that develop the property developers are going to hold off. They're going to wait until the supply chain fills up again. The price comes down.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're building here, but people are moving here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joel, that's a good point. Does bombing Hamas until the rockets stop count as de-escalation? Technically, yes, and I happen
It's
to
just-
agree with
It's
that.
just that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Israel didn't start it this time.
No,
In fact, they haven't started it any of the times.
no,
So why is he calling it Israel to de-escalate when they're not the ones that started
Because
it?
they're winning.
Hamas was the ones that
Because
started it.
because he gave Hamas $235 billion
Yes, he
2
unlocked.
weeks ago with no strings attached.
Well, he technically didn't give it to Hamas. He gave it to Palestine.
He gave it to friggin' Hamas.
Right. Who's the controlling government in Palestine?
Right now, it's Hamas.
Yes.
Palestinian Authority is trying to fight with Hamas for leadership
They're losing.
Right. Yeah.
and losing.
But
Well, I
Hamas
don't
is
know.
in charge. So when he released the money to Palestine,
Yeah.
and you can
I
hear
don't know.
you can hear my air
Apparently the Israelis decapitated the Hamas leadership with quickness.
Only in that area. They didn't get all the rest of them up in Syria and everywhere else.
Yeah, because aren't they kind of sitting in Iran too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Louise says they are building breakneck speed in southwest Kentucky too.
The Hamas leadership in Gaza Strip was really nervous there for a while because they were getting ballistically promoted.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, within minutes.
Sanford says, would bombing DC until the rocket attacks on Israel count as de-escalation or simply a public service?
It's a public service.
Yeah.
Still want to train
I
monkeys.
just
Well, when you think about it, the confrontation between Tlaib and Biden yesterday in
What was that
Detroit,
about? What was that about?
she was whining, bitching, complaining that he wasn't doing enough to stop the Israelis.
Yeah.
Because she claims to be Palestinian.
Whatever.
Yeah.
She better claim to be American.
She doesn't.
she doesn't. The four,
The squad.
the
Yeah.
squad, the ones that can claim to not be American actually claim to not be American.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm in Congress, but I don't represent the people that elected me.
Yeah.
I represent some foreign country that I have an idealized vision of.
I wish we could slap her on a C-130 and drop her in the middle of
Yeah.
West Bank. Fine, you're Palestinian. Here you go.
You know what would be great? If every time something was proposed in Congress, either House or Senate,
Yeah.
they were required by law to go back and poll the people of their district.
Yeah.
And do whatever the poll says.
Yeah, you talk about selling.
First off, it would slow everything down. a lot. And I'm all in favor of government working at the speed of whale blubber at the South Pole. Okay. And secondly, it would force them to actually represent the people that elected. Oh my
No,
God.
that'll never happen. Not as long
Well, I
as
know
the
it'll never
Democrats.
happen, but it would be fun if it did.
Yeah, send Talib to Palestine to de-escalate Hamas. That would work, Jason.
If you are an elected official and you claim to be I'm Palestinian, then you need to immediately lose your elected position
Yep.
and be shipped to wherever.
Yeah, go ahead, go represent the Palestinians.
I'm Palestinian. Get out.
Go represent them wherever they're at.
Anybody who claims anything other than American when they've been elected to represent Americans,
Yeah.
they should immediately lose their elected position.
Yeah, Josh and Sarah, that's typical of California. I had a friend that was that I used to play golf with at Moffett back in the late '80s, and he was the last CO of the Presidio, Army Command at the Presidio, and he had bought a house in Atherton. It was a 3-bedroom Eichler for $17,500. And last time I talked to him, saw him was in 1998, and got a Christmas card from him from Arizona. He had sold the house. They never even put it, well, he said technically it was on the market for 4 hours. And they sold it to a Saudi who set $900 and some odd thousand in cash on their kitchen table.
That's really hard to say no to.
Yeah. And the realtor was going, but I've got paper. Sign it. So
Out comes rubber stamp.
yeah. So Billy's wife was having some health problems, and the doctor said they needed a dry climate, which Atherton is not. And she was a gardener, and she didn't want to leave, but so
There was $900,000 in cash on the kitchen table.
yeah, and they had to be out in 2 weeks. So
Does that include
They pay for it.
furniture?
They
No.
pay for it.
They just want the empty house.
well, an Eichler is a pretty special thing in Northern California.
See,
But they went to Arizona, just outside of Phoenix. He found a condo on a golf course, complete, furnished, nice furniture, $225,000.
so there's still
Paid cash for it.
$650,000.
Yeah.
It's good.
Took the $600,000 exclusion and paid tax on the rest of it. And the funny part is, he plays golf Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She does garden club Thursday, Friday, Saturday. She's in 3 different garden clubs, one in her area, one in the next area over, and one in a place called Sunrise or Surprise. I don't remember which one. Anyway, she's got her garden clubs. He's got his golf. The only day they spend together is Sunday. But he said,
They roast.
he said,
See that?
we're living off the money that's in the bank.
Yeah.
He said, my pension, he says, I got more money than I can shake a stick at.
Not
He
too
said-
nice.
And I don't have to with California anymore.
See,
That's
I
special nice.
outprocessed from the army out of Wuhan.
You did.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were,
Coming from Korea.
Pacific.
So, and it was a Presidio. So, of course, they also told us do not leave the post unless smaller than groups of 3, and do not wear black and silver.
Red
What was
or-
the other color?
Red or blue. Yep. The reason for that.
Yeah. The EO that Abbott signed, Jason says is basically against the Texas Constitution.
Which you?
Huh?
Which you?
On the mask. But it was, and our case point is, and it's a good one, it's only for governments and such. Doesn't affect private businesses.
They can't. Executive order,
Yeah.
by definition, is to allow the governor
Yeah.
to
To-
do his job better.
To,
Easier.
to direct the executive branch.
Right. That's it.
Well, Sarah Clitheroe, he's working on that.
They're
But-
screaming.
The Texas legislature, yeah, unlike most states, doesn't meet all the time.
Once every 2 years.
Yeah.
God bless Texas.
Yeah.
90 days every 2 years or something. Every
Yeah,
2
and they're
years.
about, the term's about up.
Yeah, it is.
And they are not allowed to stay in Austin.
No.
They have to go back to their
You got to
district.
go home.
Yes.
You got to go home.
Although Alaska might have had a better idea. You just don't have any roads or any way of getting into the government, and they can stay there as long as they want.
The order.
Have you ever been to Juneau and seen the hotel in Juneau?
No. Everywhere that I went in Alaska was connected to the oil field in some way. So it was somebody's armpit,
Yeah.
or taint.
That's Alaska. Oh,
Yeah.
The
The mosquitoes in Juneau are freaking huge.
Perineum.
perineum.
Yeah, perineum. That's it. That's the word for the
Taint.
taint.
Yeah.
The Texas is coming off of the federal COVID enhancement on payments starting July.
Yeah, July 1st.
1. And the screaming has been epic.
For the unemployed?
Mhm.
Yeah, the folks that have been milking. Because right now, the number of welfare fraud with COVID enhancements, the ones that got caught is 16%.
Yeah.
It's almost 1 in 5.
RK, the skeeters in Alaska, trust me, they are bigger than the ones in Louisiana. And if 3 of those bitches get together, they'll be going, well, do you want him to eat him here or take him home?
Before the big ones get here.
Yeah.
Never ever heard a mosquito have to call the landing tower for instructions before.
The caribou in Alaska will tend to the tops of hills.
Yes.
And stay out of the valleys because there's a breeze at the top of a hill to keep the mosquitoes moving away from you. Because if you don't, the mosquitoes will literally kill you.
Yeah, they'll drain you out.
Yeah. You'll see dead caribou pups, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
Again, because the mosquitoes in Alaska have to call for landing directions to
Yeah.
the tower.
Yeah. 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 RK, the ones in Alaska are bigger, trust me.
There.
Jason, I have not actually followed up on HB3, so I'll have to take your word that it's not a good bill.
Which HB3 is which one?
For Texas.
Hang on, HB3, let me look it up.
We will look it up. But
I know we're getting screwed on constitutional carry.
Yeah.
So is he not going to sign it, or is it dead in
I think it's dead. It went back to get things sorted.
Yeah.
Somebody stuck a poison pill in it?
Yeah. Democrats stuck a poison pill on it.
Let's see here.
RK, I don't know where you were in 2018, but I know that when I was up there from 75 through 2015, I stayed the hell out of South Alaska, especially in the summer. And Eielson and Fairbanks was no fun in the summer.
Relating to state and local government responses to a pandemic disaster, including the establishment of a pandemic disaster legislative oversight committee, Jesus, and to in-person hospital visitation during a disaster. And currently, it is scheduled for public hearing. Still in the Senate.
Kenai, Denali, and Fairbanks. Yeah, well, you were kind of in the same places. The big ones, though, the big mosquitoes really are down around Juneau and in that area and south. And, if you ever go up there with a camper, carry bug spray, and before you open the door, shoot it out the window or something.
Latest bill text. Let me see here. Come on.
Seward's going to be interesting. Oh, you were in an RV. That's right. You were telling me you did make that trip.
Okay,
That's a hell of a long way to drive an RV.
Unless the titles of the sections are democratically misleading, it doesn't sound so bad so far. Reduces vulnerability of residents, communities in the area to the damage, injury, and loss of life. Prepare for prompt and efficient care and treatment of persons victimized. Maintain employment levels. Protect and preserve individual liberties guaranteed under the U.S. Constitution and the Texas Constitution.
Yeah, Jason's saying it was addressing that the legislature wants to give their power to the governor during a pandemic. Well, Jason, that actually makes sense because if the legislature is not in session, it's an off year.
Okay, section 418A, 0.004. This chapter does not grant the governor authority to enact law. Does not expand the authority granted to the governor under chapter 418.
Okay. So there's that refutes what you're saying, Jason.
Well,
limit, modify, or abridge the authority of the governor to proclaim martial law or exercise any other power vested in the government under the Constitution or laws of the state, independent or
I'd
in
have to
conjunction with any
It's
provision of this.
it's too
chapter.
friggin' big. I'd have
Yeah.
to sit down and tear it
Yeah.
apart. Now, I don't doubt that there's gators in the swamp, but it's too big for me
Yeah.
to read right now.
But what, Jason, what it's based around is the fact that Texas only meets every other year. So if
For
something
like 90
happens
days.
in a year when they're not meeting, like it did last year,
Somebody's got to be able to do it.
somebody's got to be in charge. Yeah. Richards Hopkins says, Fred was going through East Arkansas on his motorcycle, put 2 gallons of gas in a mosquito before he realized it wasn't his motorcycle. Yeah. No, Jason, the governor is not mandated to call the legislature in session because of the way Texas does their constitution. He can
That's it.
call them into session, but they don't have to respond if it's an off year.
Like I said, I'd have to sit down and print it out and tear it apart. It's way too big for a quick scan.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that there's poison pills and
No,
there's
there's-
gators in there
There's a whole section there on limiting the governor's ability to
to do it.
create martial law.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to tear it apart because there may be a section limiting the section limits.
Yeah.
I just don't have time.
Jason's saying it would allow the governor to continue the EOs even if unconstitutional. And I don't think so.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to dig into it. Yeah, RK, if your RV survived a trip to Alaska, I'd say it's a pretty good quality unit. Because
It's completely used up.
yeah.
Or both.
No, they brought it to the Fools Con.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The only thing that Rodney was complaining about was the quote unquote damn plastic door latches. Apparently they had to tape the doors closed on the bottom.
RK, Rita is discussing with me getting an electric samovar if the lady with the T is going to be at FoolsCon next year.
Yeah. And Sarah Clithrow wants to talk to you about the poison pill and the Texas constitutional carry.
Which one? There's multiple ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. They every time.
Oh, koala, that is bullshit.
Uh-oh, what?
New Mexico's governor is saying she refuses to lift the mask mandate unless 60% of New Mexico gets the shots.
How does eat a bag of dicks sound?
Yeah.
Because that would be my response.
They were touting the fact that the number of children between 5 and 14 that were choosing to get the vaccine had risen from 600,000 to 1.4 million nationwide.
Children that
On the
old
news.
don't choose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're saying that. Well, this is a good sign that all the kids want the vaccine. I'm like,
No, they don't.
the kids
They're
are
being
the
forced
ones
to
at
get
the
it.
least risk.
Yeah.
They
You can't tell me a 6 or 10-year-old has the maturity to decide whether they want to take a vaccine or not, or whether it's mom.
Yeah.
Oh God, no, yeah, it's mom.
Yeah.
And this would be on par with forcing kids to get the shingles virus.
Yeah.
Shingles vaccine.
Yeah.
Well, my youngest daughter's a paramedic, and my grandkids are not getting that friggin' vaccine.
Well, apparently, the majority of CDC staff aren't taking the vaccine, which
Yeah.
really makes me nervous.
I just want to know which one turns you into a zombie and which one gives you superpowers.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not sure which one I'll get.
Yeah.
But I want to know which is which. That way I'll get the right
Well,
one.
get the first dose of one and the second dose of the other.
That would work.
Sanford says some of our politicians need a 7.62 injection.
Some of them just need to be loaded on a C-130 and taken to Angola,
Their country of choice.
Namibia,
Yeah.
and kicked off the back deck.
Yeah.
We need to put them in the PRC. They really want to experience.
Hong Kong.
Yes. Put them in the PRC.
I don't think politicians. I think college professors that have any anarchist or communist symbols on their office door
Yeah.
need to be loaded up and kicked off a plane to Hong Kong. You like it so much, here you go.
You got to be
Yeah.
careful because the government is now defining what symbols are considered radical.
Yeah,
Like
and
the,
apparently a cross is now radical.
The Gadsden flag is radical.
Yeah.
A cross is radical.
Does the term "eat a bag of dicks" been used?
Yeah, Sarah Singleton. If your kid, yeah, your kids, if you, both you and your hubby had it, they probably were exposed. And you need to look at getting to them that T cell test that just came out. It's on the FCC website
FCC
or FDA. Yeah,
CDC.
CDC. I'll get it right in a minute. Too many acronyms today.
One of the alphabet soups.
Yeah.
Well, the thing of it is,
Okay.
children don't get hammered.
Well, and the potential exists for it to kill the kids.
So
Because
does everything else.
They do not have, but this
Oh.
goes back to our conversation about immune systems
Oh, gotcha.
and the lack of immune
I thought
systems.
you meant the virus.
No,
Okay.
the lack of immune systems that kids have today because they are not allowed to go outside and play and get dirty.
Stress test that immune system.
You
Yeah.
know what it is? Breastfeeding. They're not breastfeeding enough.
Well, it's a combination. The simple fact is, kids are meant to go out and play in the dirt.
Yeah.
If you haven't eaten a couple of bugs by the time you're 7,
Yeah.
something's wrong.
Or mud pies.
You know, on the average, the average American eats 9 spiders a year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'd like to actually see the
Well,
study.
The spiders crawl in and then you just kind of.
Yeah, I'd like to see the study.
And Sarah
Because I don't
Cliff,
see how you can do a study on that.
Sarah Clithrow says, like I said, lots of protein in a bag of dicks.
Because what are they doing? Tagging the spiders? Yeah. How do you do the study on?
Put a box over your head, clear plastic box. Put the spiders in it. See how many are there the night before, how many are there in the
That's
morning.
not a good study.
Or you could create a bedroom and put 15 spiders in it of varying sizes. And then have the person sleep in that room that night.
Yeah, and then what?
See how many of the big spiders left versus how many of the small spiders there left.
Yeah,
And how do you know they went in anybody's mouth and
Yeah.
didn't scarper off through a crack?
Well, obviously you can test the person afterwards.
yeah.
I just like the fact that
Or-
now people out there are going to think I eat 9 spiders a year in my sleep. They're going to be freaked out.
RK says beetle-filled mud pies were the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sanford's complaining and he's not breastfeeding enough because his wife's in Texas. And Sanford will leave that one lay.
This is exactly why I said that.
Josh
We just
Josh
told
says
Ian.
his kids thought all the rocks in the front yard were hard candy.
Well,
Oh,
who
might
at this
have
table
done
hasn't eaten a pill bug?
Oh God, yes.
What's a pill bug?
The little
Oh,
wood
one
lice
that
that
rolls up.
roly polies.
Okay.
I mean, who didn't put one in a straw to shoot at his little brother and it actually inhaled too hard?
Yeah.
I was using bar darts.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. Sarah Singleton says all 3 of her kids ate bugs in Cambodia. Yep.
hey, bugs in West Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the bugs you
South
get in
Central
Cambodia, you
Africa.
get from the street vendor.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, it depended.
I ate bugs in West Africa and South Central Africa and Northwest Africa.
I'm
And
half
anybody
convinced-
that's ever gone through just jungle escape and survival training, real jungle escape and survival training, has eaten plenty of bugs and liked them.
I'm fairly certain half of the chicken I ate in the buffets in Angola, especially in the safari camps, was not chicken
No, it
per
wasn't.
se.
Okay, Jim, you're sleeping,
Not even per se.
eating sleeping spiders is a myth. And it was circulated. Dryas is calling you out on this. Said it was an experiment to see in short how gullible people on the internet are. And Brian went, yep. And
Pretty
there's a
damn
lot of gullible people out
Pretty
there.
damn
That's,
gullible.
that's why I keep repeating it.
No, I would. This was actually the National Geographic Society did a study on street food.
Yeah.
In West Africa, because my dad threw up his hands and said he wasn't going to help.
Yeah.
Because they asked, "Could we get some help?" He said, "No, I don't want to know."
No, I've got my favorite vendor, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to not use them anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, Dryas, you're right. Roasted grubs aren't too bad. You know, when you scrape them off the bottom of the monkey pod tree and, you know,
There's
put them in the little pan over the
Yeah.
water that you made out of a leaf, banana leaf.
there's the apocryphal story of the POWs in Japanese prison camps during World War II counting the number of maggots in their rice.
Yeah.
Because the more maggots they got, the more protein they
Yeah.
got that day.
Oh yeah, if you were a farm kid, you know, old farm equipment or working on a ranch, You ate all kinds of bugs, not by
If
choice.
you're a motorcycle rider,
Yeah.
you are eating
Especially-
bugs.
Especially one that doesn't believe in a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a happy motorcycle rider, you have eaten bugs.
Yeah, or-
Yeah, you've eaten big bugs.
yeah, they stick in your teeth though.
Yeah. I can remember getting hit in the helmet by, I assume some kind of bumblebee, might have been a wasp, but it was big enough that I had a sore neck.
Yeah.
Almost cleans you out of the seat, didn't
They
it?
went pow, and my head snapped back, my neck
Oh,
cracked in
Aaron,
multiple
yeah.
places.
I didn't pick up that you were on a different account today.
Who?
Darren Cram.
Oh.
Go fancy and do chocolate covered roasted ants.
Had to-
Oh, they actually do. You can get
Who
some.
does
I
that?
saw something the other day ad for chocolate covered grasshoppers.
Yeah, and some grasshoppers. You
Who
can.
does that? Is that Japanese cuisine?
There's a company here in the U.S. that does them.
Yeah.
I've seen them advertised a couple of times. It's like I've had it, don't like it, move on.
What I would do is I would get a box of Raisinets.
Yeah.
A box of chocolate covered ants, mix them
That's
together.
because you're a bastard.
I would
Yeah.
mix them together and put them on the table.
Your parents weren't formally introduced to me.
Well, and we've wasted another hour of your time, folks. We will
This
not
one
be.
went by quick.
We will not be doing one tomorrow because I'm flying out to Raleigh for Fantasy. So the first real con of the year.
I mean,
So-
non-virtual.
Yeah, non-virtual.
Real con.
Yeah.
Let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
Tell
on
me how
with
many
Mona
people-
Lisa, right?
Wait,
Yeah.
it's Raleigh, North Carolina?
Yeah.
Have they lifted their mask mandates?
I don't know. I think so.
About to find out.
Yeah, we're about to find out.
Just listen for Mona Lisa shrieking. You'll know. Nope, they haven't lifted the mask.
Yeah. Yep. And Koala says chocolate covered chili scorpions from here are good luck. Okay.
So a lot of things are good luck. Doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean I need good luck.
Do you eat the stinger off of a scorpion?
No,
I've always
I don't.
wondered.
I don't. I don't know
No.
anybody else. They're stupid.
All right, folks. We've wasted enough of your time.
Because
Be
Oh.
safe, guys.
We'll be back
poison
next-
is in the stinger. The poison sac is in the body.
We'll be back next Tuesday. God willing, and the creeks don't rise.
Somebody find out if you eat the stinger off of a scorpion.
Oh, don't start.
Be like eating a stick.
There are days, and this is one of them. Remember, folks, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff.
Be safe, guys.
Y'all be safe and have a good one. Bye.